For millennia, humanity has gazed upon the stars, wondering if we are alone in the vast cosmic ocean. We've pondered alien civilizations on distant worlds, their histories, their triumphs, and their downfalls. But what if the greatest mystery lies not light years away, but buried beneath our very feet? What if, before the first feathered dinosaur soared through primeval skies, before the colossal sauropods shook the earth with their thunderous steps, there was another civilization, an advanced society that rose and fell in the unfathomable depths of geological time, leaving barely a whisper of its existence? This isn't a tale of ancient aliens visiting our planet. This is a profound thought experiment, a journey into the deepest past of our own world, asking, what if Earth itself harbored a forgotten legacy, a civilization lost not to human memory, but to the relentless march of eons? To truly grasp the premise of a pre-dinosaur civilization, we must first confront the staggering scale of geological time. Our human history, from the first written records to the present day, spans a mere blink of an eye, perhaps 6,000 to 10,000 years. The age of dinosaurs, the Mesozoic era, stretched for approximately 186 million years, a period so vast that it saw the rise and fall of countless species, dramatic shifts in continents, and profound changes in Earth's climate. Yet, even this immense epoch is but a fraction of our planet's 4.5 billion-year existence. Before the dinosaurs, there was the Paleozoic era, a time of burgeoning life in the oceans and the first tentative steps onto land. And before that, the Precambrian, an immense stretch of nearly 4 billion years where life slowly, painstakingly evolved from single-celled organisms to more complex forms. It is within these unimaginably long stretches of time, particularly the Paleozoic and late Precambrian, that our thought experiment takes root. Could a civilization have emerged, flourished, and vanished without a trace, swallowed by the very processes that shape our world? This is the essence of the Silurian Hypothesis, a concept popularized by scientists Adam Frank and Gavin Schmidt. It asks a provocative question. If an industrial civilization had existed on Earth millions of years ago, how would we, in the present day, detect its presence? The hypothesis isn't about proving such a civilization existed, but rather about exploring the fragility of evidence over deep time. Imagine a society that harnessed energy, built structures, and perhaps even developed technology. What would remain of it after tens or hundreds of millions of years of relentless geological activity? The answer, surprisingly, is very little. Erosion, plate tectonics, volcanism, and the constant recycling of Earth's crust would systematically erase almost all direct physical evidence. Buildings would crumble, metals would corrode, and even plastics, thought to be eternal, would eventually degrade or be subducted into the mantle. The fossil record, our primary window into ancient life, is notoriously incomplete and biased towards organisms with hard parts in specific environments. A civilization, by its very nature, might leave few, if any, conventional fossils. If direct evidence is so easily erased, what then could possibly remain? The Silurian hypothesis suggests that we should look not for artifacts, but for anomalies, subtle, indirect fingerprints embedded within the Earth's strata. Think of it as forensic geology on a cosmic scale. A technologically advanced civilization, even one millions of years removed, would inevitably alter its environment in ways that might still be detectable. For instance, the burning of fossil fuels, a hallmark of industrial societies, releases specific isotopes of carbon into the atmosphere. These carbon signatures could theoretically be preserved in ancient sediments or ice cores, presenting an unusual spike that doesn't align with natural volcanic activity or biological cycles. Imagine discovering a layer of rock from the Permian period, 250 million years ago, showing a sudden, inexplicable surge in carbon-12, a signature of industrial emissions. What would that imply? Beyond atmospheric changes, consider the impact on the planet's material composition. A civilization that mines and processes metals or synthesizes novel materials might leave behind unusual concentrations of rare earth elements or synthetic compounds. While plastics are often cited as a modern persistent pollutant, even they degrade over immense timescales. However, their molecular remnants or the unique chemical byproducts of their creation could persist in certain geological formations. Microplastics, for example, are now ubiquitous in our modern environment. If a similar material was produced by a pre-dinosaur civilization, could we find a layer of ancient sediment, rich in its degraded molecular components? Furthermore, an industrial civilization would likely have a significant impact on biodiversity, potentially triggering localized or even global extinction events that would be visible in the fossil record as abrupt faunal turnovers, distinct from those caused by asteroid impacts or supervolcanoes. The very act of building and shaping the landscape could leave behind distinct patterns of sedimentation or erosion, though these would be incredibly difficult to distinguish from natural processes after such vast periods. If we entertain the notion of a pre-dinosaur civilization, a crucial question arises. What would they have been like? Our human-centric view often leads us to imagine beings similar to ourselves, bipedal, tool-wielding, with complex language and social structures. But Earth's evolutionary history is a tapestry of astonishing diversity. Could this ancient civilization have been reptilian, insectoid, or even something entirely alien to our understanding of life? Consider the vast stretches of time before the dinosaurs. The Carboniferous period, for instance, saw the rise of giant insects and amphibians thriving in lush, oxygen-rich swamps. Could a highly intelligent social insect species have developed complex societies, perhaps utilizing organic technologies that left no enduring trace? Or what about the Permian period, just before the great extinction event that paved the way for the dinosaurs? Could a lineage of highly evolved synapsids, the ancestors of mammals, have achieved sentience and built a sophisticated culture? Perhaps their intelligence manifested in ways we don't immediately recognize. A civilization might not necessarily be industrial in our sense. What if they mastered bioengineering to an extent that their cities were living organisms, their tools grown rather than manufactured? Such a civilization might leave behind genetic markers in surviving life, forms or subtle changes in the planet's microbiome, rather than concrete ruins. The very definition of civilization itself might need to be re-evaluated when considering such deep time. Their technology might have been entirely organic, designed to integrate seamlessly with the natural world, leaving no lasting impact that our current methods of detection could identify. The absence of evidence in this context becomes less about non-existence and more about the limitations of our search parameters and our anthropocentric biases. We are looking for echoes of ourselves when perhaps the echoes of a truly ancient civilization would sound entirely different. The Silurian Hypothesis is more than just a thought experiment. It's a profound challenge to our understanding of Earth's history and our place within it. For generations, we've operated under the assumption that humanity represents the pinnacle of intelligence and technological advancement on this planet, the first and only industrial civilization to have ever emerged. This hypothesis forces us to confront the possibility that we might simply be the latest in a long line of intelligent species, or perhaps even the inheritors of a world that has seen such cycles of rise and fall before. This re-evaluation has significant philosophical implications, questioning the uniqueness of our existence and prompting a deeper humility when considering the vastness of cosmic and geological time. Scientifically, the hypothesis pushes the boundaries of astrobiology and geology. If we are to seriously consider the possibility of pre-human industrial civilizations, we must refine our methods for detecting what are now termed technosignatures, signs of technology that could persist over geological timescales. This isn't about finding a lost city, but about identifying subtle global-scale changes. For example, the presence of synthetic elements or isotopes that don't occur naturally, or a sudden unexplained shift in atmospheric composition could be indicators. The search for technosignatures in the geological record might involve analyzing ancient rock formations for unusual patterns of heavy metals, rare earth elements, or even complex organic molecules that are not biogenic. It might also involve looking for evidence of large-scale terraforming or geoengineering projects that could have left lasting marks on the planet's geology or hydrology. The challenge lies in distinguishing these potential technosignatures from natural geological or biological events, a task that requires an interdisciplinary approach combining geology, chemistry, paleontology, and even astrophysics. Moreover, the hypothesis encourages us to look at our own impact on the planet through a different lens. The Anthropocene, the proposed geological epoch defined by human activity, is leaving a distinct and measurable imprint on Earth. From plastic pollution to concrete structures, from altered atmospheric gases to nuclear fallout, our civilization is creating a unique set of geological markers. If a future intelligent species were to unearth these markers millions of years from now, would they be able to reconstruct our story? And if so, what would they conclude about us? This reflection on our own legacy underscores the core message of the Silurian Hypothesis. The geological record is a harsh mistress, and the deeper you go, the more elusive the truth becomes. The absence of a clear, undeniable signal from a pre-dinosaur civilization doesn't mean it didn't exist. It simply means the Earth is incredibly efficient at erasing its past. If such a civilization did exist, what could have led to its complete disappearance, leaving virtually no discernible mark? The answer lies in the very forces that govern our planet. Beyond the slow, relentless grind of erosion and plate tectonics, Earth has a history punctuated by cataclysmic events. Supervolcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and rapid climate shifts have repeatedly reshaped the planet, wiping out vast swathes of life and altering landscapes beyond recognition. A civilization, no matter how advanced, would be vulnerable to such forces. So imagine a global impact event, far more devastating than the one that ended the age of dinosaurs. The immediate destruction would be immense, but the long-term geological consequences, tsunamis scouring continents, atmospheric changes leading to prolonged dark ages, and subsequent massive erosion, would ensure that any surface structures are pulverized and buried, then eventually subducted. But perhaps their demise was not so dramatic. What if their advanced technology, rather than saving them, contributed to their downfall? A civilization that mastered energy manipulation or terraforming could inadvertently trigger ecological collapse, leading to a slow, agonizing decline. Or perhaps they simply reached a technological singularity, transcending their physical forms and leaving the material plane behind, their existence continuing in a dimension we cannot yet comprehend. This idea of a cyclical existence, where civilizations rise and fall over vast cosmic timescales, is a recurring theme in speculative thought. Our current understanding of Earth's history is largely linear, a progression from simple life to complex, culminating in humanity. But what if this linearity is an illusion, a consequence of our limited perspective? What if the planet itself has witnessed countless cycles of intelligence, each leaving behind only the faintest of echoes, waiting for the next cycle to begin? The very concept challenges our anthropocentric view of progress and history, suggesting that our story might be just one chapter in an infinitely larger, more complex cosmic narrative. So what if there was a civilization on Earth before the dinosaurs? The question itself is a powerful tool, not necessarily for unearthing definitive proof, but for expanding our intellectual horizons. It forces us to reconsider the vastness of time, the relentless power of geological processes, and the potential for life and intelligence to manifest in forms and at times we can barely conceive. It's a humbling thought, suggesting that our human story, as significant as it is to us, might be but a fleeting moment in the grand cosmic drama of Earth. The absence of evidence is not always the evidence of absence, especially when dealing with timescales that dwarf human comprehension. Perhaps the greatest lesson of the Silurian Hypothesis is not about finding a lost civilization, but about recognizing the profound limitations of our current perspective and the immense mysteries that still lie hidden within our own planet's past. As we continue to explore the universe, searching for signs of life beyond Earth, perhaps we should also look inward, with new eyes, at the very ground, beneath our feet. The Earth itself is a living archive, constantly writing and rewriting its history. And somewhere within its ancient pages, between the rise of the first complex life and the reign of the mighty dinosaurs, there might be a chapter yet unread, a story of a civilization that once was, a silent testament to the endless possibilities of existence. The echoes are faint, almost imperceptible, but the question lingers, inviting us to dream beyond the known, to imagine the unimaginable, and to embrace the profound mystery of our ancient home.